Then the stars that die off are actors. So what actually dies is not they themselves as a human being. It's just a character they let die off, and then they make some more money from this character, like Elvis and all of them, like all have died. True. And nobody is selling their soul in the, what did I write here, in the, it's just a selling trick. Yeah. So next page, the plastic clothes, they don't breathe, but wool does. But where do you get woolen clothes? This is woolen, then this is woolen, that one is plastic because of the weather, and then, yeah, I know it's difficult to buy woolen clothes. Then to sit in a chair keeps you immobile, so because you don't move, you're getting into need of moving. So that's where the backaches stem from. If you have a ball you're sitting on, you're all the time moving a little bit, or if you do your stuff on the floor, you're also moving all the time, which keeps your back healthy. Then if you do weightlifting, your vein system gets shorter, and that one will pull on some bones, which will give you aches. Only for elderly people, lifting weights is okay because they don't really have muscles anymore and they really need to focus on that. But otherwise, any sort of weightlifting really is bad. The Swiss national football team doesn't do weightlifting. What makes them so powerful is not eat sugar and to overstretch, like to do Tai Chi. Then every series on the media has a character that is screaming, so when beforehand it was kind of silent and that character would start screaming, what you get is, oh, there is someone in pain, so that one makes you ill. Then all the rivers, they need some vegetation on their sides so that they can function properly. Then only at the equator you are producing enough vitamin D to create enough melatonin to get enough sleep and also to get enough serotonin to be happy. Then if you do running or aerobic, heavy jumping stuff, then your bones get grinded down. But if you do slow motion Tai Chi, you don't get ill after a lifetime of doing so. Then wood is very bad to create paper from because cellulose is only contained in a small percentage in wood. Better would be hemp or anything else to create paper. If you have a wooden protector to stop a arrow, that one keeps the arrow away from you much better than a metal shield, because wood has so much holes, kind of air bags, so that one will make the arrow go left and right, and by that one stop it much better than a metal shield. So because Winona Ryder is a actor character and Keira Knightley looking approximately the same, it could be that that's just the other character they created for this human being that was beforehand playing Winona Ryder. Just go to look at Ed Chiarini's work, also Dallas Goldbug, so you see that the actors are called slaves, and it's most probable that they have different personas, characters they play on screen. So 0.001%, they owe 40% of our world's finance, and these are 50 conglomerates. So they have all the power on their side, you can say. Then WikiLeaks website was owned by Soros at the beginning, and Occupy was steered from the elite. You can see because David Icke is in front of a green screen there. Then also Lily Allen is in front of a green screen when there was this high building burning in London. So they do a lot of fake events on their media outlets. Then if you mix up all the races, you get social unrest. That's what they want to do by this UNO agenda, telling that only a emigrant has rights. Then you don't need to have a specialist, someone that has no universal knowledge. You have to think yourself, because only an all-rounder would survive all sorts of situations. Don't get yourself tricked into being a specialist. The great artists on the world, like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, they were universal genies. The weather is kind of triggered with or tampered with because the jet stream has different kind of outlook now. If you don't eat wholesome food, biologically so-called grown food, as we call it in Switzerland, you're eating a lot of fertilizer. And because of the jet stream not being correct, also the Gulf Stream is not correct. So that's why the whole weather on the world is kind of different than it used to be. Then if you have a hybrid, that one has no seeds, so you can have a next year plant. Consider that when eating broccoli, which is a hybrid. Then the UFO landing or sightings, the Kennedy shooting and the moon landing, Columbine, the World Trade Center incident are all stories they produced for the media, and then also not just television but books and stuff to milk them in the following years, like hundreds of years. And then by that, like when it's television, they can put advertisements there because people watch these horror things happening. If you have a pan with some coating instead of a plain iron pan, you are eating the coating as well. Then in the kitchen you should have copper or iron pans, teak, bamboos, wood or cedar wood. No, or ceramic. No other metals, because you want to have a healthy kitchen. Your washing machine is not washing stuff as clean as when done by hand. Then you should always be sure that you're not eating too much sugar. On the salt side, you're much safer. Then here it is, stevia is the most preferred sugar. Then there is xylitol you can brush your teeth with, and they get rid of their coating, so that's a good thing. You don't need to go to the dentist to do a teeth cleaning. Then you can check Peter Ferreira on the salt issue, so you're never intaking too much salt. You get diarrhea if you have too much, so you don't get ill. There is a ill-making factor by having too many people living in a crowded area, because our photons realize that there is too many people around us, and the photons usually are used for the cell communication. So when there is too many people around us, we get ill, because that's a stress factor, because our body then thinks there is going to be a food shortage. The blue light from the computer does slow down your melatonin, and by that you don't fall asleep at night. If you don't shower for 2 days, having been in the sun, then vitamin D gets created. The stuff that we consume on the media or wherever, like television, books, adverts, everything, that's the stuff we got in our brains and we can reproduce. And the non-governmental organizations, World Health Organization, the World Money Fund, and all are against us, the 99%. The bad soaps on the internet, when the actors are playing badly, make us believe in the politicians much easier when they are lying, because we are used to liars. So because the church has to get eradicated, they now put up these stories about pedophilia in the church, WikiLeaks that has happened lately. And also the politicians are depicted silly. Also the government has to go, just the non-governmental organizations like the EU have to remain in the end. Because then when the church is gone and you are standing in front of some kind of life situation, where you need help, you don't have someone standing behind you, like the other brothers and sisters of your congregation. And also no politics that would help you out. So the JFK Kennedy type, he's also Carter. And you have to check out that some people play different characters on the media. You can go and check Bob Marley and Morrison and all of them. And then Elvis for sure had a twin. Hitler is Kermit Roosevelt, and that one also played one of the Disney brothers. Then I also mentioned that these NGOs in the end will rule the world, and they will just shorten everything for us, not have us have cars, and they will own the resources, water, oil, and the minerals and everything privately. Just like the World Bank is a private bank. Then these halogen bulbs have cold light, which is a blue light that will keep you up at night. Then if you have copper garden tools, that one is much better for your earth. And also working with it is much easier. Now we get to the end. And then in the garden, if you dig into the earth more than 5-7 centimeters and you make a mix of this earth, all the bacteria there, the ones in the air and the ones not in the air, get mixed up and will have to travel to its normal position. Well, just rebuild themselves after you leave the earth by itself. So that one is not recommended anymore. So generally you can say, after all these negative things, you should always act and not react. Whenever there is something happening, don't be touched by it. Do act. Be an artist. Do your stuff because you want to do it. Do produce and not consume. And only when you have a solution to a problem, you can mention the problem. And then also minimalism kind of makes a free mind because you lose so many things you have to take care of. Bye bye.